Hi, if you want to know how to learn piano fast, stay with me. Hi, and welcome to the Uncon School at howtobecomeaprofessor.com. My name is Stefan, and I'm your host. Today is a very special episode because today we're trying to teach you how you can learn piano in exactly 21 days. Me personally, I've been practicing piano for 8 years, and I must admit, it's very embarrassing. I cannot play anything right now. And um, around 3 weeks ago, I come across this website. It's called pianoin21days.com, and instantly it caught my attention. So I sent an email to the creator. His name is Jacques Hopkins, and just wanted to ask him what this website is all about. So Jacques, thank you very much for taking your time for that interview.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. So, Jacques, could you please introduce yourself shortly to my audience?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Jacques Hopkins. I'm 28 years old. I live in the southern part of the United States, down in Louisiana. And by day, I'm an engineer. I've been an engineer for 6 years, but I've played piano since I was 5 years old. And it's funny you tell the story about how you actually played for 8 years or so, but
Right.
can't even play a song today. Because I actually have a similar story because my parents put me in traditional piano lessons at 5 years old. And I stuck with that for the next 12 years or so. And I had a realization at the end of that when I could only play two songs myself.
Right.
And so it's a little more than your zero songs, but still, after 12 years, you'd think you'd have more more that you could pull out than just two songs. Now, that's not the case for everybody, but I've talked to a lot of people that took piano lessons and they don't have very much to show for it.
Right.
Took traditional piano lessons, that is. And so what I've done is, one day it just kind of hit me that there's got to be a better way. So I'm there at 17 years old. I've had these 12 years of piano lessons, and I did find a better way to play. And it's not, there's no sheet music involved. Um, there's not a lot of theory involved. I was able to break it down to, I mentioned I'm an engineer. I've
Right.
got a very big math mind, and I've broken it down to very basic, simple formulas that you can replicate across the piano. And so for the past 11, 12 years of my life, that's the way I've been playing, and it's fantastic. Today I can play hundreds of songs, and
Right.
I'm learning new songs in a matter of minutes, whereas before it was months. And so I was able to take that method that I have to play piano, and I structured it in a way to teach other people how to play like I do today. And I broke it down to 21 individual lessons that build upon one another. And I can really take somebody that hasn't even touched a piano. Now, most of my students are the ones like yourself that used to play and are coming back to it. But I can take somebody that has never touched a piano and they can actually play popular songs on the piano, a very good version of it in just 21 days.
All right. Okay. I mean, that sounds incredible and still pretty unbelievable. And let's try to elaborate the status quo. Why do you think, in your opinion, um, did traditional kind of piano instruction didn't work at all in your case and in so many other cases as well?
Hmm.
What's wrong about traditional piano instruction in your opinion?
Well, don't get me wrong, it obviously works for a lot of people.
Right.
The thing is, the people that come to me are ones that don't want to be this magnificent concert pianist. They need another track. The people that come to me are the ones that just want to have piano as a hobby, or maybe they want to play in a band or something. And this is perfect for that. And you really can get to that point in 21 days. Now, to jump back, there's a misconception about piano and maybe instruments in general, just about the complexity of being able to actually learn. And I always tell people that piano is absolutely the best instrument to get started on if you don't know any instruments already. And here's why, is because it's one of the only instruments where every note, every key is laid out right in front of you. You can see all of it, and they're in order. I was talking to a guy the other day. I know nothing about playing trombone, for example. I was talking to him, and I was kind of asking him how the trombone works since I didn't know much about it. And he was saying, well, this letter is here, and then the next letter is here, the next one's here, here. It wasn't in order at all. And he just kind of laughed at it and agreed. And I kind of had that realization that that's the unique thing about the piano is everything's in order, it's there, and it's sequential. So a note to the right of a note is higher than that one, and it goes on like that. You can even ignore the whole black and white keys. They're all just keys and they're in order. So that's the reason that piano is a great place to get started.
Right.
And then from there, once you realize that, it just you can break almost everything down to formulas on how to play. And that's what I do. And then I allow people to make playing the piano their own by filling in the gaps here and there.
Okay, okay. We have to become more specific here, yeah? So, how does your piano teaching method work exactly? I mean, you claim that your program, Piano in 21 Days, I mean, what's the goal? I mean, when I'm purchasing your program and I'm going through your lessons, right?
Mhm.
What's the ultimate goal? I mean, what I'm able to do after 21 days?
Okay. So let me. So you asked me to get more specific. Let me give you a good example of the way I teach something versus other people.
Right.
So you want to play a chord on the piano,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is multiple notes played at the same time. You may have heard of a C major chord or a D minor chord, things like that. And a lot of people will just have you memorize those. Okay, a C major chord, you've got to play a C, an E, and a G. You've got to memorize that. You've got to know it. Okay. What I teach is okay, every major chord can be played with the exact same formula, and that formula is simply 4/3. So if you can remember 4/3, you can play any major chord on the piano. And what I mean by that is, let's say you want to play C major. I'm not going to tell you memorize C E G. I'm going to start at C, go up the very next four notes, black or white keys, it doesn't matter. So put your finger at C, go 1 2 3 4. Okay, now you're at E, then go 1 2 3. Now you're at G. That's a C major chord. Now that the key is that that's replicable to any other key. So we can say, let's play a G sharp major key, right? You don't have to go back into your brain and remember what that is. You just put your finger at G sharp, go up four keys, and then go up three keys, and there's your G sharp major.
Okay.
So that's something that we teach in, I believe, day 4, and it really lays a great foundation for the course. And we build upon that, and you can break apart just about any song, especially pop songs that come on the radio and such, to these chords. So those are your foundations, and then we really just build upon that for the remaining 21 days. By the end of it, you're playing pretty advanced versions of these songs.
All right, okay. So, I mean, the way how you're teaching chords, right? Sounds great, right? And definitely easier to understand. But how do you teach how people can memorize a song by heart, and even how you're moving your fingers in the correct way, and especially online. I mean, how is it possible that us people who are totally beginners in piano are moving their fingers in the right way, right?
Hmm. Yeah, and that's a great question. What I could try to convey in my lessons that a lot of people don't necessarily do is you've really got to, just like a lot of things in life, really, you got to do what works best for you. So, for example, when we come to scales, which is kind of sequences of notes, whereas the chords are notes played at the same time, a lot of teachers like to focus on the fingering. They're like, okay, well, you
Right.
got to do thumb and then second finger, third finger, then cross under and go back to thumb and go like this. I kind of show people in my video lessons. Now, it's difficult to teach people without actually being there. I'm sure you know that. But I've got every one of my lessons has multiple camera angles to really try to get the best effect. Um, but I show people the way that I do scales, for example, but I say, look, if you've got a way that's more comfortable for you, then please by all means use that. You don't have to be set to this. I give them the framework and allow them the freedom to work around them so that they can really make it their own.
Okay, I see. And could you maybe explain a little bit further how your course is structured specifically? I mean, how many hours do I have to watch your video course per
Mhm.
day? And then on top of that, how many hours or minutes, I don't know, do I have to practice?
Yeah, so everybody's different, right?
Right.
So, the way my course is structured, and my course, if you want to learn piano, my course isn't for everybody, but if it's
Hmm.
for you, that's awesome. But there's so many options out there, and that's great. And if you want to learn piano or you want to learn anything, just taking that commitment and taking those steps to actually learn something new is fantastic.
Right.
So by no means is my course for everybody, but if you do want to jump in, there's a new video lesson every day, and we start right at the beginning. Day one is white keys, day two is black keys, and we go from there. And so there's anywhere from a 5 to 10 minute video lesson that's very detailed, a lot of content. And the contents of that video are also in text and images on the membership website.
Right.
And so you go through that lesson, and each lesson has anywhere from 1 to 4. I think one lesson even has 5 practice sessions. And so what we do is we present a lesson, and then we give you these different practice sessions, and you've got to take those away and you've got to practice those on your own, and you're really going to get out of it what you put into it. I know that's kind of cliche.
Yeah.
You've got, on average, we're seeing about 2 hours is what it takes per day for
Right.
these 21 days, 2 hours. But, like I said, it varies. Some people are more than the 4 hours. Some people maybe you can do it on 30 to 45 minutes. The
Right.
other thing we're noticing is that not everybody wants to take the commitment to actually say, okay, here's day one. I'm starting, and 21 days from now, I'm going to be a piano master. So people are kind of approaching it more slowly, and that's fine. It
Right.
goes back to whatever works for you. And so people are taking even 3, 4, 5, 6 months to go through the 21 days. Maybe they're taking a lesson per week. And it's just a matter of what works best. Now, the reason that my course is 21 days,
Right.
the main reason is because of the whole scientific, evidence of 21 days to form a habit, things like
Right.
that. And so I do recommend people that sign up for my course do the consecutive days, because you're
Hmm.
really losing out on something by not doing it consecutively.
Okay, totally understand you. Well, I'll definitely will give it a try. And yeah, and I mean, could you share with us honestly how have been the feedback so far and the success rate, right, so far among your students, among the persons who have purchased your program?
It's been really cool to see, because a lot of people's first feedback to me is, wow, I thought the piano was complicated, but you just make it so easy, which is exactly what I was going for.
Right.
That's what I did for myself when I was 17 years old. Other people have made it so complicated to me. And so that's just amazing feedback. So I'm getting emails nearly every day from people thanking me, telling me how easy I've made it. And there's been several success stories. A lot of people I don't hear from again after making the purchase, and it's unfortunate, because I'm assuming those people are, they're fired up at the beginning and then just kind of fizzle out. And I try to reach out to those people and say, hey, what's going on? Are you sticking with this? Or, some people get back, and, everybody's always like, it's the time. I just don't have the time for it. And that's fine. But, and I've had people locally that I've been able to share this method with in person, that I've been able to see
Right.
very cool results. I've been able to show my, for example, 12-year-old brother-in-law this method, and the good thing about him is he's actually a very good singer as well. So he's
Oh,
able to
awesome.
put his piano playing with the singing at just 12 years old. And I'm going to be putting some videos of him on my YouTube channel here shortly, because I just think he's doing fantastic.
Right, awesome. I mean, could you in the end maybe give us some advice how we can maintain and develop that habit of playing regularly and maybe daily, just a bit? I mean, this is, in the online world, this is a topic that has been discussed over and over again, but still most people seem to struggle to develop a habit that really sticks. How did you develop the habit to play piano on a daily basis?
Well, for me, I've played since I was 5 years old, so it's probably my number one hobby, and has been for a long time. So when I've got some free time, I'll be at the piano, and that's actually how I came up with the idea for sharing this, because I've dabbled in some other online business activities,
Hmm.
and I was procrastinating with those things by playing the piano.
Got
And
it.
so that's what made me actually want to take piano and turn that into a business, is because that's what I was passionate about. So that's the key, is you've got to first of all enjoy whatever it is you're doing, to be able to stick with it. I can compare it to just exercise, for example. I mean, if you're not enjoying the exercise, then there's no way you're going to stick with it consistently. And personally, I don't enjoy exercise while I'm doing it. But what I do enjoy is the feeling. I just feel so physically better and I'm able to be so much more productive throughout the rest of the day. And I've just got this almost a high the rest of the day to
Right.
where I don't have it if I don't exercise in the morning. And so I know that I'm going to get that enjoyment. So that makes me want to do it every day. And so it's the same thing with piano or anything else is, first of all, make sure it's something that you really want to do and you think you're going to get something out of it, and then it goes back to just that whole daily thing. And that's why I recommend you stick with it for the consecutive 21 days, because if you know, hey, at this time on for these 21 days I'm going to be doing this, and you've got to make that commitment to yourself. And if you don't make that commitment, you're just kind of passive about it, then it's just not going to happen.
Okay, that's incredible. I'd like to finish this very very interesting interview with an observation that I made on Quora.com. Maybe you know that website, right? For all you guys who do not know Quora, Quora is a question answer website, and the goal of Quora, of the founders of Quora, is to build a collaborative knowledge base, so to speak. And you can ask any question, right? In all areas, in all disciplines, and also personal questions. And one question that I've been following, and also the answers, is what is the skill that you would like to have, right? And thousands, hundreds of people were answering, and it seems that there are two skills that really most people would like to have. So the first thing I think is to learn a language,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
And the second one is to play an instrument, and specifically guitar and playing the piano. Yeah, so I think it seems to be a deep inner desire of us humans to play an instrument. That's very interesting to me, actually.
Absolutely. And you're spot on with those two things. Learning a language is the number one skill that people would like to learn. And music is right there, or an instrument is right there at number two. And with both of them, you have a ton of options, right? Languages is almost limitless. And then instruments, you could say the same about instruments as well. But guitar and piano and drums are the top three. And I'm actually working on guitar in 21 days
Oh,
as
really?
well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out later this year. Now, I'm not a guitarist myself. I do not know how to play the guitar, but I'd like to take this framework that I've developed with piano, and
Right.
I'm teaming up with a professional guitarist in Nashville to make this happen. And so that's going to be coming later this year as well.
Okay, awesome. Jacques, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. So if you guys liked that episode, and if you guys are feeling kind of motivated to start playing the piano within 21 days, then please check out his website, pianoin21days.com, and later on in the course of that year, 2014, guitarin21days.com, I guess. And yeah, thank you so much, Jacques. It's great what you're doing. You're really breaking it down for people who are frustrated, or who are totally newbies and feeling kind of overwhelmed to getting started. And if you liked the episode, you guys, then yeah, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us at howtobecomeaprofessor.com. And yeah, share your thoughts about this. Do you think it's possible to become a decent piano player within 21 days? Do you think it's a scam, or do you think with the right method it's actually possible to pull it off? Yeah, we really like to read your comments. We're curious about it. All right, Jacques, thank you so much, Jacques Hopkins, and all the best for the future.